Welcome to the YouTube Church of Christ. I know it's been a few weeks. I said before that we are going to do it every other week, and we didn't. So I'm sure the one or two of you who are avid fans got a little confused. Thing is that we're heading off into college, so a lot of changes are going on. So I won't be able to be down here on Wednesday nights when we normally do it. So we're cutting back from 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, to once every month, at least. So don't be surprised when you look, next week or the week after, and you don't see us. That is a lot been going on. Caroline, our camera person, isn't going to be able to do the camera work, so it might be a little bit longer this first few times as we go off. Here's Stephen with the latest, our future preacher.
I find it interesting that so often everybody's all concerned about their life. Because, sometimes everybody gets a little worried. They say, oh, geez, you gotta go get good grades in high school. They say, all right, now, you gotta do that because you gotta go to college. You say, you gotta go to college, you gotta get all these crazy degrees. So you gotta get all these degrees so you can get this nice job. So you can say, you're all about, you gotta get this nice job, so you get this nice money, so you can be all successful and happy. And everybody gets all worried about their business. Everybody gets all up in a dither and all stressed out about it. Because they're all concerned about what in the world is gonna happen. They're all concerned about it. And sometimes I think that we can forget that there's more than just our business that needs to be taken care of here. That as Christians, we have a greater job and a greater calling than worrying about where you're going to school and what degree you're going to get and what job you're going to do. And it's interesting is we're going to come up here looking at John chapter 15. And Jesus, he's in the middle of really talking to his disciples before he's just about ready to go to the Garden of Gethsemane. And he's just pretty much given a last little bit of instruction and pep talk to his disciples throughout the chapters here. And so, in the middle of a conversation, Jesus, he comes, he talks to his disciples. He says, "You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends. For everything that I have learned from my Father, I have made known to you." Now, you would think that little verse is just kind of innocent little thing. Okay, we're friends of Jesus, awesome. I'm digging it, we're friends. No. You're friends of Jesus if you do what he commands. And I tell you, Jesus says that you are my friends because I have made known to you my Father's business. Because if you're my servants, they have no idea what's going on. But you're my friends, because I have made known to you all the things that my Father has made known to me, and I have made known to you my Father's business. And so, what are we doing here? We're getting all worried about, geez, how am I going to pay to fix the car? What am I going to do about school? What in the world is going to happen? We say, but we know the Father's business. So how come we're not doing the Father's business?
And just, what exactly is the Father's business?
That's where it gets pretty cool. See, Jesus, he says that you're my friends if you do what I command. That's verse 14. He says, all this is going on. And here's the thing. That what Jesus says, what the Father's business is explained in the verses before. So now let me read this to you. This is verse 12 and 13. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, than one who lays down one's life for another. And then we get into, I no longer call you servants, because the servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I call you friends, because everything that I have learned from my Father I have made known to you. So now let me put this all together. We've been commanded by God to go out and love one another. In fact, we are to love each other as much as Jesus has loved us. And Jesus loved us so much that he died for us. And that's exactly what he says. Greater love has no one than this, than one who lays down one's life for another. That's the Lord's business. That we love each other. Not worrying about school or college. God is going to take care of all that. And I say that instead of being focused on getting good grades and that high-paying job, we should be focused on the only thing that counts, and that's faith expressing itself through love. That's what Paul says in Galatians. And so, I just want to charge you guys with this, to go out and actually love each other. You say, man, well, that's just too hard. That takes too much work. That's too much effort. I don't think it's worth it. But I tell you that a little bit of love goes a long way. And seriously, you can change the world. We got to be about the Father's business.
Yeah, well, practicality about loving one another. You know, I recently, actually, everything. My theme when I was baptized and everything, I was baptized because I realized just the amount of love Jesus had, and I was like, I want more people to know this. And the thing that I've noticed that all of the 10 Commandments, every commandment we have, every law that we've been giving, everything boils down to loving each other as ourselves. And as I try to apply this, instead of like, thou shalt not, but in this question of, is this loving my neighbor? And I find that as I apply this more and more, it sounds simple. It can get a little bit confusing, not because it is confusing, but because the way we think our processes aren't necessarily correct. And so we have to, you'll never run out of new ways to love your neighbor. I mean, I remember doing this little camp we went to called Elevate. I was doing a walk with some other people, and our job was to basically help someone, do random acts of kindness. Well, we tried one or two things, and it didn't quite work out. But we hit upon this simple idea of it was hot out. It was pretty hot out there. So we grabbed some water bottles, and we just passed them out to random people on the street as they went in the store, as we did this. And loving your neighbor can be as simple as, passing out water bottles, talking to them, listening, not judging them. That was hard. Just going off, holding doors for them. Think not just what would I like to have done for me, to do for me in this situation, but consider way back in the beginning. What sort of things has led them to this point? What problems has caused them, or what thought processes do they do? Because some people, they might like to be left alone, so, having companionship might actually be worse for them. But it's this idea of considering each other more important than yourself. And going off and saying, you know what, yes, this will take me out of my way, this will inconvenience me, but it's important for this person, therefore I'll do it for this person. I don't know, maybe we're not communicating this very well, but the best way to be useful is to figure out ways that you can love out another person. You can help them out in some way. Taking time. There's someone with their book bag. I remember a scientific study where it's like someone drops their book bag and they see how many people would stop and pick up the notebook, and it's like, people only do that when it's convenient. When they're pressed for time and they're trying to get somewhere, they'll ignore that. But if they have a few minutes, they'll stop. Yeah, they'll stop and help out. People are good when it's convenient. God commands us to be good even when it's inconvenient. Do you have anything to add to that, Stephen?
No, I think you summed it up really well.
So, So don't be surprised if you don't hear from us for a little while. We're not stopping. there's just a few bumps that we're trying to smooth out. I hope if you guys have any questions, feel free to contact us down in the comments and in our email that Caroline will, for the last time, put out underneath there. Feel free to subscribe to us. That way you won't have to keep checking us every month. You can just, oh, they got another one out there. So yeah, we'll try to answer questions. We'll try to get to our next video as soon as possible. If you have something that's needed, that's what the church is for. One of the few people seem to think that the church is just a club for nice people. No, the church is a congregation that's basically said, we're going to love even if it's inconvenient. And if your church doesn't do that, that doesn't mean that you're less. That just means that the church, that particular church, isn't doing their job, which is being this community, trying to live out God's love by showing it, and not just talking about it, but by showing it. In fact, showing it might actually be easy. Nate, he's going off, he's trying to start evangelizing, and one of the things he mentioned was that it was hard to just start and say, hey, here, let's talk about Jesus, sort of thing. But it's really, really easy. I find it really, really easy to just say, hey, you want a water bottle? Showing, because that's what the kingdom of heaven is all about. It's about not just, oh, here's this thing called the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is about loving each other. That's, the kingdom of heaven is here. Repenting, I said this before, repenting means to rethink everything. I've noticed that a lot of times the world says this, therefore this, A, therefore B. God says B, therefore A. Opposite. Only do this when it's convenient for you and you'll be very good. God says do this even when it's inconvenient. And I have a few things, but I can't think of them right now. But it's like, we say save money. We save money, save money, save money. God says spend money to help the poor. Spend money to help the poor. I'll help you out with all this. We say hold on to our blessings. God says distribute the blessings. It's like our blessings are this. Okay, think of God's blessings as like this gigantic, massive, like a main Walmart sort of thing. And God says, okay, here's the blessings, and we're the distribution centers. We'll send it out. So like, I don't know if Walmart actually does this, but it's like a store, a main store, and then they send out their wares to like these distribution centers, and they can distribute it to smaller and smaller things until you get to the individual stores. It's the same thing with us. He sends it us so we can distribute our blessings to bless everyone on the planet. And you keep sending this in, and we keep sending it out, and that's pretty much our job description. It's not to say, oh, this person's doing a bad job, or this person's doing a bad job. Now, it might be, I don't think this will be a good for you sort of thing, but it's one of those things where we can't judge. That's not our job description. Our job description is to love, even when it's inconvenient, even when it feels like it's not going to work. One of the things someone pointed out to me was with the Samaritan. I'm sorry, I'm running out of time. But for the Samaritan, the Good Samaritan, the guy's half dead on the floor. Sometimes we feel that other people's spiritual lives are half dead. So we walk by and I think, oh, this guy's dead. And thinking about the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they can't touch dead people because of their tradition, And God's basically saying with the Samaritan that our job is to go in, even when we think this person's probably dead, help them out. Spiritually dead or not, we have to help them out. And you will never run out of ways to love someone. You'll never run out of ideas as long as you think of how to love. I try to see all arguments, all moral arguments in the case of, well, what's going to love the person the absolute most? And I won't say what my positions are on certain things. I'll let you guys ask yourselves, well, how do I love my neighbor the best way? And let you guys decide what that is. So, yeah, I spent way too much time there.
That's all right.
So we're going to just end it here. I want to thank Caroline. This time, Caroline, don't cut that out. No, this is our last time together, and I want to thank Caroline, as I always have. And I want to thank Stephen here for doing that. Hopefully we'll be able to set up another video as soon as possible. Nate Foster will be leaving this particular church for somewhere else. He'll be leaving for Florida, and we'll be missing him. He won't be able to be on the video. Bobby, who was here once, Annika, who was also here a few times. We like to thank them all, and I hope you guys enjoyed it and are still enjoying it. Like I said, we're not stopping. We're keeping going. It's just going to be a lot less because we're college people now, and we have college schedules that are very hard to keep up. But we hope that you're learning something and that we're opening up new things for you guys. Read your Bibles. That's like the best way to learn. I try to open up my Bible, and I keep learning new things every single day. So, yeah, may the Lord be with you.
That's right. God bless you.